And for us to ensure that Africa makes that leap forward, we need to ensure that we control the infrastructure to the core. We don't need to depend on anyone. The moment you start depending on people or other infrastructures, you've lost it, right? So that's pretty much it. So that's how we are writing that future. We don't want to wake up one day and someone says, oh, due to regulations in the United States, we think we're not going to support you anymore. We're sorry, and you need to read our terms and conditions. No, we're not reading anybody's terms and conditions. We write our own terms, right, according to the laws of our own government.
For people who don't know who Ugochukwu Aronu is, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, yeah. Well, my name is Ugochukwu Aronu. I don't know if I have to spell that for people who don't know how to spell it, but yeah. Anyway, my name is
I think that's
Ugochukwu Aronu, and yeah, I was born in Enugu, Nigeria, and yeah, I grew up in Enugu. I'm from Anambra State, it's like state of Ogun. And yeah, I'm an engineer. I studied engineering in the University of Nigeria, so I studied electronics engineering. So I've been exposed to engineering and building stuff um, for a long period of time now. And yeah, I also got into the blockchain in 2016. I think a little bit about my family. I come from a family of four boys and a girl. My mom is a professor of medicine. My dad is a chartered accountant, retired. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it about my background. And I've been building ever since I left school, even while I was in school. Yeah, building things like software related things, hardware related stuff. And yeah, I just like to make things. So that's pretty much it about me. Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much for that background story. So we're going to get right into it. You've built Xend Finance and Asset Chain. You're the co-founder of Xend Finance and Asset Chain. What exactly are these projects, and what sparked the idea for these projects in the first place? Like, what was the inspiration to build these projects?
Yeah, okay. I started Zen Finance in 2019, myself and my team. So the goal of Zen then, just to before we had anything that had to do with crypto, the goal of Zen was just to allow people to send money and receive money through their in-app wallets, right? We actually launched a proof of concept in the University of Nigeria just to try out a service where people will be able to send money across, between themselves without having to use cash, right? So that was like the first phase of Zen. And then in 2020, when COVID hit, what now happened was that it was crazy. People had deeper problems because they were supposed to access their savings and they could not access their savings. And since they could not access their savings, what I mean by they couldn't access their savings was that their savings was actually losing value at the time because there was a major decline in the value of Nigerian naira. So we were now looking for alternatives. How would we allow people to earn interest in dollars while they were even at home during COVID, right? So that was how the crypto and the DeFi element actually of Xend Finance kicked off, right? And then in 2020, building out a DeFi protocol. And the good thing is that around that same time, we were backed by Binance, right? Binance is a crypto company, so it actually helped. Okay, it helped with building out the entire DeFi element of Xend Finance. So we allow people to save money, convert their local currency to stable cryptocurrency, and earn yield, using our DeFi smart contracts on Binance Smart Chain at the time. So that was how, that was like the progression for Xend, right? But now we've built even more, for Xend. We have gone beyond even one chain or just providing yield in stable currencies. We've also integrated, assets, real world assets into our product offering so people can earn yield from, real estate, from the Nigerian money market, from stocks. Also, we've built our own blockchain, which is, Xend asset chain. That's what people ask now. That's what when people talk about asset chain was built built by the Xend team, right, to be able to now provide much more, utility, and to be able to create more value, for our entire ecosystem. The asset chain story is an interesting one because over the years as a builder, I've been in this space for 9 years plus. And one of the things I've realized is that in Nigeria and in Africa, we contribute a lot to the crypto market. So Nigerians are ranked number 2 when it comes to adoption of cryptocurrencies, right, in the world. We contribute a lot to the crypto market, but it's as if we create value for other regions, but not for ourselves, right? And it's a big problem. And what I mean is a big problem is that if you look at the top 10 crypto exchanges, the top 10 or top 20 exchanges or top 20 blockchains, there is nothing from Nigeria, there's nothing from Africa. We don't even come close. I don't think we control even up to 0.5% of the global crypto market, right? The crypto market is what, about 3.4 trillion or thereabout now. I don't think we are capturing any of that market, right? In as much as we do some OTC trades, but it's not enough, right? So this is why we actually built Asset Chain, to be able to have an infrastructure that can capture value. And if you look at Asset Chain, it's a much larger ecosystem. Xend Finance is now even one of the products on Asset Chain, right? We have multiple products like Ycrypt, MoonPie, so many builders building on Asset Chain, and that's the goal. We even have a DEX similar to Uniswap on Asset Chain. We have a Perpetuals DEX that is being built, similar to like your Hyperliquid. We have other projects being built, and the good thing is that with this, we can now attract value, we can bring in liquidity into our ecosystem. So Nigerians do a lot of trading. Our P2P market this year is estimated to be what, about $900 billion in terms of transaction volume. But this happens on other exchanges, it happens on DEXs, not DEXs, rather on other exchanges, on other blockchains. But capturing, even if it's 10% or 20% of that market on our chain, will attract a lot of economic value to us. It will allow us to scale the ecosystem more. And Asset Chain is not just for Nigeria, it's for the whole world, but it's built from here. So that's pretty much it. So these were like the inspiration. These are how we graduated from like Xend to now building Asset Chain. And Xend on its own is a product that's still running. Actually, we have major iterations, major improvements that we've been deploying over the years, and we've never stopped building. So in the next 3 months, we're also having like massive improvements and scaling it to like different countries as well. But yeah, these are like these are the two things that or the inspirations behind Xend and also Asset Chain.
That was actually a very inspiring backstory. Then you mentioned that Asset Chain is built from here, but it's not built for just here. So there are other existing blockchains. Why did you feel the need to build your own blockchain to power the other things that you're building on?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, other blockchains capture value, and in Africa, we don't even have any public layer 1 EVM chain or any public chain that people know, right? Maybe some people might have done things in silos or trying things out, but people don't know these things, right? People don't have, blockchains like your Binance chain, like Solana, like Base, like Tron. I'll give you an example. When it comes to Nigeria or in Africa, the highest amount of stable coin volume is actually done on Tron, right? Tron is owned by Justin Sun, right? Highest stable coin volume is done on Tron, and the fees are still astronomically high for every single transaction on Tron. Then you now talk about Ethereum, you talk about BNB chain and others. So and Solana as well, right? When people want to buy meme coins in Nigeria and Africa, which a lot of them do, they go to Solana. And people doing a lot of transactions. Let's say maybe they are building dApps and all that. They leverage different chains, Solana, Base, BNB chain. None of the value is captured here, and we contribute a lot. So for that alone, right, we've seen that it's important that we have our own blockchain. Very necessary. So we can capture value and scale up our ecosystem. I mean, let me give you another example. You see, when you look at companies in Nigeria or in Africa raising money, where does the money come from? It comes from the US. It comes from China. Even, us, Xend Finance, the first check I received from an investor, because I come from a traditional, business background where you build stuff, you make money. I didn't know anything about investments and all that. So when we built Xend, which was, something, a product we were just looking at, then we saw the Binance stuff, we applied, and it worked. They said, okay, fine. And they now said, oh, they are going to invest. That was the whole point. That was the first time I knew anything about, external funding. right? So you see that we were funded by CZ, Binance, which is, a Chinese slash Canadian company, however you want to structure it, right? So that's the same thing. A lot of companies here are funded by Chinese, the US, which is great. But you hardly see companies funded by like Nigerian investors at scale. Yeah, they are angel investors, don't get me wrong, but not huge VCs that have risk capital. And if you look at a company like Binance, they funded hundreds of companies or maybe even thousands now. Where is the money coming from? From their exchange, from their blockchain. Same thing with Coinbase. There is Coinbase Ventures. Where's the money coming from? From their exchange, from the. I mean, the thing is that most people just overlook these things. But I can't overlook them because that's where the real value is. The real value is in infrastructure where value is captured. The real value is in systems where transactions are done, exchanges. So if you don't have those types of systems operating at scale, we're basically wasting our time here, right? So you can build your dApps, your nice applications, they would work. But the thing is that if you do not have things that can operate at scale, you see that some of those applications will not even see light of day because they might not even get funded, right? So if we have systems that generate money for our ecosystem, we can easily fund a lot of applications from here. So that's pretty much it. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to say that there's some advanced tech that people don't have. Nobody cares about that. We're trying to build systems, get customers that are already existing, and get new customers because the crypto market is too new. Like, it's too early. Just about 7% from Chainalysis of the world has adopted crypto, and I can tell you there are so many double or multiple account holders there. So you can say that's just about 5%, and we are $3 trillion market cap. We're not even up to gold. Gold is over $15 trillion market cap. So it means that we can still do another 5x to get to gold. So you can imagine if we can still do another 5x to get to gold, and nobody in Africa is building infrastructure to capture that value, then I think something is wrong somewhere. Like, literally something is wrong with the way we're looking at this industry. So, but for me, nothing is really wrong. We're already on it and we must get it. So that's the real reason why we're creating this. Yeah.
One of the major updates in your ecosystem is the integration of cNGN, and that's something that a lot of people are curious about. There has been a lot of talk around it. So, what attracted you to the cNGN project? And then, what potential do you see in it as a naira-backed stablecoin for solving real-world finance problems?
Yeah. So, for me, right, I'm a businessman. I'm an engineer, but I'm a businessman. I'm a very practical person, right? I like to
Yeah.
look at things that it's not just about the tech, things that create economic value, because we need so much economic value, economic firepower when it comes to Nigeria. I'll talk about Nigeria because cNGN is Nigeria, right? So it was last year when the cNGN team, Convexity team, Deji, Uyoyo, they spoke about cNGN really well too, but they've been in the pursuit for over 4 years. And it made a lot of sense to me. It was just, a light bulb moment. And I was like, there's so much value we can derive from this. So it even made us as a team to invest in them. So we invested in cNGN, right? Early on before it launched. And one thing I can say is that it's been really amazing. It's been an amazing experience. So cNGN is not just another coin, but just look at it the way USDT is, right? USDT represents the US dollar. Currently, USDT sits at $156 billion market cap. That's not small. USDT is the company that has the highest amount of profit per employee in modern history. What does that mean? It means that I think the USDT team might be just about 25 or 30 people. I mean, I stand to be corrected. But these guys are worth over 100 and something billion. And their profits are out of this world. And this can only happen in new markets like cryptocurrency, where people are still trying to get a hang of it. So because we have a team in Nigeria that has a hang of cNGN, yes, the Nigerian market might not be as big as the US market. The Nigerian naira might not be as strong as the US dollar, but we have a chance here to make something out of it. So you see that what the cNGN idea or the cNGN product also does is that it opens up a huge market. It gives us access to global liquidity. Let me put it this way. Before cNGN, how would people transact? Let's say you want to do international transactions and all that. You need to get your Nigerian naira, send it to somebody's bank account. The person gives you USDT, then use it to transact. Now that's a huge problem because you're limited by the traditional financial system. That system there, where you still have to do something with the bank, can be is a major challenge because you have limits. You also have a lot of paperwork to be done. But what cNGN does is that it currently just removes that layer and brings your naira on chain. So if I have 1 billion, if I have 10 billion naira, I can do my transaction simply. I can just go to a DEX and swap it. That will now take me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Why cNGN is, for me and for Asset Chain, it is super important, is the P2P market. Before, our P2P market exists where you do transactions, you buy USDT by sending money to somebody's account, or if the person sends USDT to you, you can actually give the person Nigerian naira, something like that, right? That's just the P2P market. But it's riddled with fraud. There's so many mistakes. Bank transactions even fail. So someone will send money to you, then someone will send money to a merchant, a P2P merchant, the person will not get the money back. P2P, people now track traders' bank accounts or P2P merchants' bank accounts, and they can easily flag your account, right? Someone can check, oh, this is a P2P bank account, and all those things have issues when it comes to privacy. Also, innovation is stifled, is thwarted. Why? Because imagine you're building an app that allows you to move naira or access naira in another country, or just convert your naira to US dollar to do some type of transaction, and you're building a system from your room, just a small developer or something. But for you to do that conversion, you need to talk to fintechs, you need to talk to the banks, you need to do a lot of paperwork. They will even ask you for one license and all that. Just build, let's say you're building a minimum viable product to test out a concept. But with cNGN, all those things will change. P2P merchants now act as liquidity providers on a DEX, right? And then the traders will just come and swap USDT for cNGN simply. And on an app like Xend Finance, we already have cNGN integrated. You can get it 1 for 1. 1 naira is 1 cNGN. We're not charging any fee. And one of the advantages of using Xend Finance and also doing this transaction on Asset Chain is that it is free of charge. So on Xend Finance, any Asset Chain transaction, 0 fees. Even on our blockchain, the gas fee is sponsored for like the next 1 to 2 years. The goal is that we want to build a strong product and allow people to adopt what we have created, right? So you see that cNGN solves a lot of problems. For the developer, you don't need to ask anybody for any API. Just go to the smart contract, integrate it, and you start to work. It's DeFi, and it's so valuable. So I would say that cNGN is a huge innovation when it comes to naira, and it will help the Nigerian naira as well, right? Because with that, you can see a lot of people now converting USDT to Nigerian naira to invest in naira in our economy. For example, in Xend Finance, we have the money market. We've been able to bring the money market on chain. So with cNGN, you can now invest and earn 20%, 20.25% on Xend Finance. That is the highest stable coin yield in crypto in the entire world. And with that, we can attract a lot of foreign direct investments. And what does that do? It strengthens the naira. Before now, people cannot invest in the Nigerian money markets easily because they have to convert their dollar. There's a lot of paperwork, but now just with crypto, you can do it. So you see that this solves a lot of problems on its own. I've not even spoken about the consumer end where maybe you can pay people easily with crypto. But for me, that part would come. The critical elements or the critical areas are like where you do a lot of heavy lifting, where you do a lot of massive liquidity management, which is in the trading aspect, which is where the P2P market is. It's a $900 billion market this year, and we cannot joke with it. So for Asset Chain, that is what we're using to really, push Asset Chain's introduction, right? We're actually launching this by next week, and a lot of people will be able to see how to easily trade and get your naira on chain without talking to any P2P agent. And those P2P merchants will now become liquidity providers, and they would make more money. So we're not disrupting anybody's business at all. We're actually making your business better. Yeah, and it's powered by cNGN on asset chain.
Thank you very much. That was very enlightening. But when you were talking about the use cases, it seems like you focused more on DeFi and blockchain natives. For people that are not really into trading and stuff, what can cNGN do for these kind of people? You mentioned something about the consumer base, but you didn't really go in depth into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So for people who are not into trading and all these things, I mean, it's for the consumer, so they can use cNGN to do their regular naira-based transactions. It will work. Yeah. But like I said, for us, I mean, there are different people focusing on those people, right? That's the end-to-end customer. So on Xend Finance, for example, there are some stores that have started accepting cNGN in Nigeria, in Enugu. Funny enough, right? We didn't set up the store. Some people just saw that, wow, I could receive my naira on chain. And those are like crypto people. So they were like, okay, let me receive it, because they can always convert it one to one to their naira Nigerian naira bank account, right? So the consumer end is working. You also have guys like, I think, use Aza on WhatsApp doing their stuff, sending. I mean, that works, right? And it's great for people who don't know about trading, who don't know about liquidity provision and all that. So yes, those are like some of the use cases for cNGN. Like a lot of merchants, e-commerce platforms, a lot of people can just start accepting cNGN instead of accepting Nigerian naira. Why? Because it is much more secure. You have full control of your assets, and you can move it around the world instantly. A lot of people have challenges with remittances, right? Some businesses, even airlines, we encourage them to start accepting cNGN nowadays, right? Because you can accept money in naira. To get black market rates to convert, you might need to talk to like 5 or 6 dealers. But on chain, you just swap your cNGN for USDT if that is what you need, or if you want to do it the other way, you swap. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's zoom out for a bit. Beyond your products, beyond Xend Finance and asset chains, what do these projects actually mean for Africa's financial future? Like, do you get my question?
Yeah.
What does Xend Finance asset chain mean for the future of Africa's finance?
Actually, that's the future. That's what the future we are writing or we are creating now. To be honest, I like to tell my friends and my co-founders I give huge accolades to people like Cody Elumelu, people like Genovia, people like Herbert, rest his soul, people like Akedo Peter side of Stanbic IBTC, and some other, I think it's something Balogun of FCMB, the late one, and Shegun, I think it's Shegun Abaji of GTB, and all these guys, right? These are cool guys. I like them. They are hustlers. They are cowboys. Some people refer to them as cowboys, right? And they've actually shaped the financial system. Then also guys like GB, right, of Flutterwave, Shola of Paystack. These are like cool guys. Then Money Point guys, and these are like very, very cool guys who are doing well in the traditional financial space. But one thing I can tell you is that, especially for the older guys like the current bank CEOs I mentioned, if some of those guys were our age, they would not be doing anything that isn't crypto. That's the truth. And they shaped the African financial system to what it is today. But you see that some other people need to take it to the next level, and that's what we're doing. So we are writing that future using the blockchain, simple and short. There is no other better way to put it. And for us to ensure that Africa makes that leap forward, we need to ensure that we control the infrastructure to the core. We don't need to depend on anyone. The moment you start depending on people or other infrastructures, you've lost it, right? So that's pretty much it. So that's how we are writing that future. We don't want to wake up one day and someone says, due to regulations in the United States, we think we're not going to support you anymore. We're sorry, and you need to read our terms and conditions. No, we're not reading anybody's terms and conditions. We write our own terms, right, according to the laws of our own government. So that way we can talk to our government, just like the cNGN team has done for the last 4 years, educated them. It's just brilliant. Even educated the SEC. So you see now the SEC, when because we're also going through the paperwork for Xend as well, and you see that they've done a great job. Nobody can educate or sell our stuff more than us. So that's pretty much what we're doing. So and that's how we write the future of finance in Africa.
What role does stablecoin play in shaping the next phase of financial inclusion and cross-border finance? Because the use case you talked about, you focused on Nigeria. So beyond Nigeria, how does stablecoin come into shaping the next phase of financial inclusion and cross-border finance?
Yeah, I mean it's obvious. Stable coins just create access. That's it. So I don't with stable coins, you don't need to do some paperwork or whatever. You just go to an exchange, whether it's a centralized exchange or decentralized exchange, you access it easily, right? So stable coins have provided access, and it has broken down barriers, to accessing money, accessing capital, right? So people can actually have that access and do so much with it, right? You also stable apart from remittance, I think those are like the easiest things. Just sending money from here, transferring value, those are the easiest things. But stable coins also create some other revenue generating mechanisms, right? And I'll still go back to like the DeFi phase, and also like capital markets, like trading, also real world assets investments. There's a lot. For example, in the Nigerian stock market, right? If you're going to invest in the Nigerian stock market, you will not invest with US dollars. You're going to invest with Nigerian naira. But because we have the cNGN, someone in America can just simply get cNGN and invest in the Nigerian the stock market, right? And that's a huge win. So it means that we would attract higher investments, and also people there can also get yield. Like I said, in our Nigerian money market, it earns over 20-21%. And on Xend Finance, people in different parts of the world can just invest their USD or USDT, swap it for cNGN, and invest in the Nigerian money market. And that was not open to anyone since inception till today. So this is like the stable coin has so much value. And this same thing would happen in other geographies, other countries, whether it's Indian rupees or like Mexican pesos or whatever, right? It's the same process. And you see that way, business can be done better. I can easily just say, look, I'm going to Brazil, right? Or I'm going to Argentina, I'm going to any country. I have my Nigerian naira. I just go to a DEX and I swap it. I don't really need to check what is the rate between this and this. Or I just go to the DEX, I see the rate, I just swap it instantly, and I get the currency and I go there and I spend it. So yeah, stable coins are really critical, and they are very important for us to take the global financial system to the next level. Yeah. And also the market doesn't close, right, with stable coins and with crypto generally. So it means that people who are trading can trade 247, right, all year round, every single day, without having markets close, because it's on the blockchain.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ugochukwu. This conversation has been quite valuable and inspiring. So, for people who are looking to learn more about Xend Finance and Asset Chain, where do they go to?
Yeah, I'll just say they should follow us on X. X is the best place. So just follow Xend Finance at XendFinance, Xend Finance. Then Asset Chain is at RWA Asset Chain. That's RWASSETCHAIN. Right. But once you just type it, you see that both accounts are verified. Follow us. We have a lot of updates coming up. Like I said, the main net is actually for Asset Chain is going live next week, and it's going to be a huge deal. It's an invite only event, right? But we'll be inviting people, giving them access codes, and with that, as we go, we'll now expand and make it public. But yeah, we see that the future is here, and not just that it's here, we're writing that future the way it should be, or the way we think we should, on our own terms, which is what other nations have done, or other founders in other nations have done. And we shouldn't be playing catch up. The blockchain created a level playing field for everybody. Nobody has monopoly of the knowledge, so we should not play catch up. We should actually be lead from the front, just like the guys in US are doing, the guys in China are doing. We should be doing that from Nigeria. And that's my job, to ensure that we lead from the front. Yes.
Thank you very much for the work you are doing to push the ecosystem forward. And thank you for your time. It has been a really insightful conversation. Enjoy the rest
Thank you
of
so
your day, sir.
Thank you so much.